ZiG on the rise. Can Zimbabwe lead the new financial system? Zimbabwe may be just days away from taking a decisive step toward economic stability and reintegration into the global financial system. An International Monetary Fund team is set to arrive in the country this week, tasked with finalizing a strategic agreement that could change the course of its economic history. Stay tuned to learn how this move connects to the new international financial system, and what it could mean for ZIM and the transition many expect. Zimbabwe is close to concluding negotiations for its inclusion in an IMF staff surveillance program, known as a PSP. This type of agreement, while not involving direct funding, serves as an international certification that the country is committed to sound reforms. The PSP helps build a credible track record of fiscal and monetary management. In other words, it is a seal of credibility that can attract investment, facilitate new financial agreements, and open the door to the settlement of outstanding debts with international creditors. During the annual meetings of the African Development Bank, held in 2025, Zimbabwe's finance minister, Professor Mthuli Ncube, stated that the process is progressing positively. We will be back soon with details on the new economic plan and the role of ZiG in this strategic transition. The plan also involves the so-called PPE, Strategic Payments Plan, which can last up to 18 months. It includes goals for economic stabilization, strengthening the new national currency, ZiG, Zimbabwe Gold, and the establishment of a disciplined and sustainable fiscal policy. According to Professor Ncube, the IMF visit in the first week of June may be the last step necessary for the formalization of the plan. International support is also growing. The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, reinforced his commitment to the debt restructuring process. He called on the international community to support Zimbabwe with a $2.6 billion line of bridging finance, an initiative similar to that which has already benefited countries such as Sudan and Somalia. Former President of Mozambique, Joaquim Chissano, also acts as a high-level facilitator, reinforcing diplomatic support for the initiative. Below, understand the strategic role of the IMF in the country's economic modernization and the direct impact on ZIM assets. The IMF's resident representative, Dr. Carlos Casares, explained that the current focus is on fiscal reforms to reduce dependence on the central bank, something that in the past has driven inflation and currency instability. Key points of the strategic plan include avoiding inflationary financing, strengthening monetary policy around ZiG, setting strict limits on public spending, improving governance and institutional framework. The intent is clear: to build a credible track record of good economic practices that paves the way for Zimbabwe's reintegration into the international financial system. All of this aligns with a larger narrative, preparing nations for a new model of economic governance, one that is more transparent, stable, and integrated with emerging global standards. If you've stuck around this far, congratulations. You understand that what's at stake in Zimbabwe is not just a currency or a payments plan. We are witnessing a coordinated movement of economic realignment that could have repercussions far beyond Africa's borders. For those following the transition to a new financial system, each step like this, each technical visit, each new fiscal policy, points toward a structural change that many hope to see consolidate on a global scale. Zimbabwe can be a practical example of how responsible reintegration can pave the way for prosperity and international recognition. And ZIM, which many have been eagerly awaiting, is now directly at the heart of this process.